Good afternoon, it's Michael here from Michael's Card Art. It's Friday afternoon. I love a weekend, and today I'm going to redo a video that I did earlier in the week, and what happened was I deleted it whilst I thought I was saving it. Anyway, this is the video, or this is the project we're going to make, and what it is, it's from a new set from Stampin' Up. It's called Frame Scenes. Now, they've provided a couple of scenes that you can use of various sites, you know, lighthouse, a bridge, cottage in the woods, tree house, and also a forested road or a path. And we'll use a couple of these stamps from that scene. But one of the things that really caught my eye with this set was they provide the borders as well. And one of the things that I thought about this set was it would make a great scrapbooking page. If you were into scrapbooking, it could be a place where you've been in the past that was quite memorable. It also could be of people. You can have people in these frames. So there's a couple of things going on with this card. There, in the background, I've used sheet music in the background, and you may faintly see that. I only wanted a very faint resolution. I've cut out some corners for this to tidy it up with the stem and things like that. We've also got some wood grain in here on this frame, and we've got some designer series paper or printed papers that will sit in behind this. But I think the star of the show are the blue flowers. These are coloured in, it's blue-green, it's a peacock colour, pretty peacock. And I've used, these look like oak leaves, but what I've done is I've coloured those up and put them onto a stem. So I don't know what flower petals these are, but it doesn't really matter. It's a blossom of sorts with some foliage and on some stem work, and with a very large oversized sentiment, which I think it's not out of place. It looks good. Anyway, so with the flower blossoms, what I've done is I've embossed them with embossing powder, and what you see there is a script. And so we've embossed what you could say would be emotions or feelings and thoughts onto the blossoms, and these are your memories that invoke some sort of emotion for you. And all in all, I think it's a really, really nice, easy to make card. The challenge for those crafters, this would be for somebody who is medium experienced, but any beginner could certainly do this card. And so I'll walk you through the process and let's see how we go. But I had a lot of fun making this. All right, so let me get organized and I'll be back with you. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is the base of the card here, and that's this piece here. So it's a piece of basic beige, and what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to stamp sheet music at random onto that, and I'm also going to randomly stamp some text from elements of text. And when I say randomly, I mean randomly. So I'm just going to choose this one here. And I'll stamp, I'll use these in my hand, and I'll stamp like that. Now, I don't want it to dominate, it's going to be subtle in the background. But let's see how it all unfurls. The difficulty will be a big piece like this. It's difficult to do random like that, and so I'll have to do it. Well, let me show you how I'll do it. There we go. Now I've got in here a non-slip mat, so I don't need a magnet. This is not going anywhere. But I am going to go like this. Like so. There we go. Just like that. And maybe one more here. Okay, so there's my random notes. And what I'll do with the text, I'll probably put that just in the block. And I'll use that to fill up these extra spaces here. There we go, like so. that block is bigger than I thought, so I'm just needing to navigate it around. There we go. So that's the base of the card, and that's as much as I want in there. And it does look messy, I grant that, but we'll certainly be hiding most of that. Now, what I'll do there, I will burnish the edges, and the way I'll do that is, let's just use the soft suede again, and I'll do this. There are many ways you can burnish the edges. You can use a dauber, but what I'm going to do is put it just straight into the ink pad, like so, and just feed it along. Just be careful that you don't put too much there. You can see it starting to come through. So there you go, like so. And you might want to take that and do that again for all sides. There we go. Just there we go. So we can see the outline there of the border, or of the edge. Now, so that is done. Let's put that aside. And what else do I need in here for this? Nothing there. That's color. Okay. All right. So our base is done. Let's go in now and color the frames. Oops, sorry, I'll just get rid of that. And now with this frame here with the wood grain, I'm going to go with something a little darker than the soft suede, just to give us some contrast, and that will be early espresso. It is a slight color, and all I'm doing is going down like this. I'm just going to burnish these edges and give it a bit of a vignette feel, and I'll do that more so on this base colour that we've just done. But let's get this. I'm just thinking the best way to do this. Let's see how this comes up. Alright, that's not quite as dark as I was hoping, but let's see what happens here. Now all I'm doing is I've loaded up some ink onto my blending brush, and I was just going to go like this, and you can see the colour transferring over very nicely now. There we go. So the whole idea of this is to pick up the colour and put it on the edge of the element, on the very outside edge of the element. Now this is for our picture frame. I could have, I'm just going to colour this in the brown, and I'll do the smaller one in the early espresso. Now I want to, with the frames done, I want to just now, we did put a bit of a border around this by dipping it into the ink, but I'm going to give it a bit of a vignette look. Now vignetting is basically where you're covering the corners and coming in with some darker colour around the edges, but coming in more at the actual corners. And what it does is it kind of creates a bit of a, I don't know, a stage for, or a highlight area for the element or card or whatever it is that you're actually working with. See, that's great. And I've got here also these little corner pieces that I briefly chatted about in the first video to talk about this. And these will go here like that, and I'll put those on at the last. So it's looking like that now with the corner edges coloured. So I'll put those aside though, but because as I said, I'll do those more or less at the last minute. Now our frames we've got, and our images now need to go in those frames. And before I do that stamping of the images, let's move on and do some colouring of our foliage. Now we're going to use blossoms and foliage, yes. We're going to use, now what is that colour? Here it is. Here. Pretty Peacock. It's a blue-green, but it gives a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous colour. And I'm going to colour these so that the lighter part is in the centre and the darker part is on the outer. And to do that, what I would do is just hold it firm in the centre and apply the colour like this. And then I'll start to sweep that colour out to the edge like so, and you will see what I mean by it just gets darker in the centre and lighter at the edges. Now the reason I'm doing that is because I want to overstamp these elements with some text, and that allows us to see the text, or have the text visible to us, even though we may not be able to read it. You can at least see that that is text, and it stands out a lot better in this sort of a colour format where it's darker in the centre and lighter on the edges. Now, here we go. Just getting the colour out to the edge, and then I'll concentrate some more in the centre, and that way, if you do it like this, you don't always end up with these lines like you're seeing. So here's one here. You don't really want those, and there's another one there. Okay, so it's just a bit of perseverance to make sure that you get that disbursement of colour that you want. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all I need. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I'm going to do something a little bit different with this. I've got some small buds that I've cut out, and I'm going to have those scattered down around the bottom here, because it looks like then that the buds have started to drop, and the leaf foliage and all that will start to come through on that. And that's the thinking anyway. All right, now, so with the leaves, all I'm doing is just giving them a slight bit of a turn. Probably, yes, it's a good time to put these on. So all I'm doing is a bit of glue, and that will go under here like so. So just under the floral. There we go. Now, one thing I just want to draw your attention to is, I'll use this one to show you. So what I did here, when I put the flowers, so there's two buds, the larger and the smaller. I put the smaller one on top, but I put it just slightly off center. I didn't put it so it covered the whole of the, so it was completely off center. It was just a slightly bit off center. And that way it kind of creates a bit more of an interest, I think, in that shape there. And I think the pecan pie looks great with the with that blue, Pretty Peacock. And so let's just put this in place so you can see how I'm doing that. There we go. Now, ideally this will adhere and come away very nicely when it's dry, hence why we use the silicone mat. And I'm probably going to use a leaf for each bud, yes. And there we go. Can I get that under there? I'm not sure if I can. There we go. Yeah, it's gone in. and this one at the top there is and that one, where's the glue now? Here. And there we go. All right. All right. So we've got there, and these will be the little ones that have fallen to the ground. Now I've got 2 leaves left over. I'll leave those until we've got everything dry and just see whether I need those for fillers. All right. Now let's talk about the stamp. So what I've done here is I'm going to stamp onto this, and depending on what the image is in the original one, I didn't want the image to sort of like intrude on the visual here, so I put vellum over the top of that. I stamped it, I colored it, and I put vellum on it. I'm going to do the coloring again, stamping and coloring, but this time the coloring will just be in tones of brown as opposed to the color that I used there. And I'm just going to experiment with that because I think oh, and also I think I said to you, you could put any image in these frames. So it could be somebody that is near and dear to you. Or I was thinking also some little birds. There were some great bird images and some... Oh, so you could stamp anything in there. So there could be some stamps that you have that have a great... I mean, look at this. You could stamp one of the. You could stamp this, and that could go in there because that could be something that spoke to you when you were on holidays and you saw that flower or whatever. So any number of things there. I was thinking also DSP has some great imagery. Let me show you one. And it's, oh yes. Look at these. See, these could be used. The birds from, it wasn't flying high, but it was the birds, and also this one was from Winterly Treetops, I think, from last season. So they could be cut and placed in there, and some vellum could go over the top just to sort of like mute the color so that you don't take away from the retro look, I suppose, and something like that there. Okay, so just a couple of ideas there, but we're going to stay with the imagery that we've got, and I'll just put this back. Okay. And I'll go with, you know, I don't mind. No, let's stay with the original plan. Otherwise, I could be here all night. Okay, so the first one I'll do will be, maybe I'll just change it up a little bit. I'll do this one, which is the trees. They'll sit over there, and I've got the lighthouse. The tall one will go in there. Okay, so let's get a block and get those underway. Now, let's see, I'll go with the early espresso and use that to stamp these with. Okay, so we'll go with the oval first, and there will be overhang, so just make sure you get the lighthouse in there without the halo. Oh dear, Michael. All right, can I turn that over? Can I turn that over? Let's see. Here we go. Beautiful. Yes, you can turn it over. And let's do this one. I need a bigger block. All right. And this one, which is the meandering path, and that will go here. Okay. All right, fabulous. Now, doing it in that color there affords me the opportunity to do this. Just using the blender pen, I can bring some of the color. I said I wanted to like brown tones, and I can achieve that with this here. And I'm not going to color all of it. I just want to bring some of that, move some of that texture and that ink around. I may, let's just see how these go. This is the water, and this is the lighthouse. Just working on the artist's, pulling out where the artist has drawn some shadow lines, and there, just bring that over, and that will be probably sufficient, I think. It doesn't need to be all coloured. Let's see how that looks when we let that dry. And all right, let's just leave that there. And then of course this will go over the top of, oops, that will go there. Now, is that too, no, that's good, that's good. All right, and the same approach here, just moving some of these colors around with the blender pen. Like so. You could use watercolor pencils and color it up there. I'm just not going for a lot of color like I did the last time. There. There we go. And a little tree here and a few in the background there. Okay, some grasses. I mean, they're great line drawings. They're very good. Yeah, so just moving a bit of that will give us enough to be able to work with that. All right, don't make it too wet because you'll start to lose the definition in the in each of the imagery, or each of the images, I should say. All right, I think that's good. Okay, let that sit. Now, how is this one looking? Let me just see. Here I am. Now I'm going to fiddle, and you know what happens when we fiddle. I just want the slightest bit of... Where's crumb cake? There it is. I just want the slightest bit of additional colour. Oh, there we go. So it's just in here. There, that's better. Just giving us a bit of definition. There we go. And I think you'll see a stronger image coming through on our... So I'm just touching that ever so gently with the ink pad and the blender pen. All right. All right. Okay, Michael, put it away. That is good. And just while that's drying, you can see, yes, very good. Better not put that on there just yet. All right, same thing here. Just a bit of color. Okay, I think that's looking good. And it just needs those, just those darker areas just to peek through the vellum. And yeah, look at that. Okay, that's it. Now, all right. Now, I'll just give that a quick blast of heat. All right, just a blast of heat to make that dry. And because it's vellum, we have to be very careful how we apply this. So I've just put on my craft mat a bit of glue, and I'm just going to wipe that very gently around the vellum on the edge where that will be hidden by the frame anyway. And once I get this one attached to the print, then I can just glue the cardboard frame to it, and there'll be no impact then to the vellum. It's just important that you don't wet it too much so that it doesn't wrinkle and there it goes. Oh, you've got to work fast. And there we go. All right, and that will go over the top of that. And there we have our first framed picture. And so, as I was saying, just a bit of glue here on the back of that now. Very little bit. It just needs to be made wet, but not too wet. And then I'll just take that off. And here we go. All right. And place that over there. Okay. I think that's it. Looks great. All right, that's the first one, and I think that's a nice colour tone in there, and we'll just do the same with this one. A bit more glue down. And actually I might just do it onto here, might be easier. Right on the very edge. That's it. Okay, and I got it. All right. And what's that? I can do this. Okay, there we go. And all right, and then that one sits in there like that. All right. I always get a bit nervous and sweaty when I work with vellum. All right. Okay, so effectively that goes in there like so. Take it away from the corners, but equidistance from the edge. I've got to glue those down. I'll put those on dimensionals, I think. Now let's just see how this is shaping up. This will be enough to test someone's patience. All right, let me... Ink pad in the wrong So what do I need? I need I might use this. I don't need that. And let's bring that over. All right. See the silicone? You can lift it off very easily and it won't stick to the mat. And it's one of the things I like about this silicone mat. All right. So I will need to do a little bit of doctoring, I think. But that's very good. Now, is it too soon to put it onto the thing? No, I think that's okay. So what I might do, no, I've got to put the frames on first. Right, so back you go. Now, actually, I'll just glue these directly onto the card. I was going to use dimensionals, but I won't. There we go. And so one goes there. So we've still got a bit of music and commentary going on there. I'll put this one in first. And okay, that seems good. And equidistance, so I'm going to bring that out a little bit because I want to see some of that text. And it doesn't matter if it's a little bit wider than the other, but I'll just even that up a bit. Oh, there we go. Right. Then this can go in here. And so, as you can see, it's a very easy card to pull together, and it's kind of fun to see all these little design ideas come to the fore. And I just take and get rid of any excess glue that you've got there. Okay, and tell me. All right. Now we can put our friend up here, and now we've got to be careful we don't obliterate the whole scene. That's good though. That's good. All right. Let's get some glue onto that. And those key spots. There we go. And now with that glue all there, you just don't have too many options. So important thing is you get it down. So we've thought about our positioning. There it is, and there it stays. Voila. Okay, sorry, that was a little bit off screen. Oh, I'm so sorry. Why was it operating way over there? I'm so sorry. Anyway, gosh, back on screen. I need to move the camera back a little bit so you can see. There you go. All right, so now it's on. And our corners, now these are just a bit of bling really, but we've done it. So let's put these down. The important thing is I've got, yes, so this will go here on this one. Now, is that crooked? I think that could have been a little bit crooked, but you know what? I'll show you how we fix that. There we go. Two. Oh. It is a bit crooked, isn't it? But not too crooked. Okay, and then we've got there. And the last corner is here. Oh, well done, Michael. And there we go. Oops, there we go. Okay, we'll just let that sit and dry. Now I want to that there. I'm going to put an extra bud in here, one that I had spare, but I don't have. I've got to get a new leaf. In fact, it may not even need a leaf. I'm just going to put it next. Oh no, I've got the big sentiment to go in there. No, it doesn't need it. Does it need this? And the reason I ask that is because we're trying to hide a little bit of that fallen hide a bit of that wrong angle. And if I do that, I will certainly do that, but I've got to change the color of this stamen, and I'll just grab a drawber to do that. I wonder, there's a little bud there. There's one there that's blowing away. And I may not need, and I'll put that one in there. Yes, okay. Pecan pie is the colour I want. Now, can I do this without colouring the flower? Yes. Oh, I can. Look at that. All right. And there is that. And this will go just there. All right, I think that's it. All right. Just put these little buds down in here. And this one is blowing in the wind. Oh, no, actually, I'll keep that for the sentiment. All right. Oh, we're just about coming to a wrap. It looks good. It looks very good. In fact, I think I like it better than the original one. So I'll just go and grab a sentiment. Well, here we are at the end of the project, and I've taken the liberty to just put all the elements together since well, I was finishing off that last little piece, and as you can see here, the brown frames, the frames with the brown toned picture, they can be seen, but not too clearly. The flowers with their various leaves and the little buds. I think it looks very, very good. I like this finish here, and yes, all in all, a project well done. I hope you've learned something, and I hope you enjoyed that. And most of all, I hope to see you next time on Michael's Card Art. Take care.